What up, everybody? Welcome back. It's me and Jesse Lopez. Jesse, how are you?
Pretty good, man. Just getting ready to roll.
Tenfold. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an update on the Baltimore shipwreck. This is pretty crazy. Jesse Lopez got a hold of me today, and I said, man, we got to run this story. Real quick, Jesse, for those that might not know who you are, give a quick rundown as to who you are. Go ahead.
Jesse Lopez. Hey, I got 20 years military experience, Navy veteran, retired, and worked in different fields in there, corrections, with the JAG's office, investigating crimes and translating documents.
You've been around the block and you served, and we appreciate your service, Jesse Lopez. Let's get right to it. So we dropped the video yesterday. Hey, shout out! We got a couple million views, Jesse. I'm gonna round of applause for us over here. So we dropped the video, right? We're gonna talk about the Baltimore shipwreck here in a minute. We got some audio. Jesse got a hold of me today and said we got to touch on this something very important, the bigger picture of all of this, y'all. And he kind of broke it down to me like this: that basically, they got us focusing on certain things that don't really matter. And when you look at the bigger picture, there's something more sinister behind the scenes. So it seems. So I'll say this: give a quick rundown with the shipwreck from what we know and what we found out at this point. Give a summary about the shipwreck in Baltimore, Jesse, because y'all do not stop thinking about this. I know that this is probably yesterday's news for a lot of people. That's how they want you to think. But Jesse, what's the deal with the shipwreck? Give a quick rundown about that, and then we'll go to what you found out as of late. Go ahead.
So one of the things that they're focusing on yesterday, and then a little bit that they're following up on today. Today, they're all of a sudden they're kicking right into the salvage operation. At first, they were in a rescue operation. Now they're in a salvage operation. They got the Navy on scene, trying to see to try. Pay in wages.
Okay, but
So it's money being lost right here, and that's just in looking at the small picture, because they're not even that's not even talking about how far wide the losses are going to be to our infrastructure, to our supply chain, and to things that come in and come out of that harbor that a lot of people use all across the country and across the world.
Jesse, so the shipwreck happened, right? There was a bunch of conspiracy theories. People, we don't trust nobody really. What is from your gathering of your information? Your Navy chief. We made a video and it went viral on TikTok, got a couple million views, like I said. But when the wreck happened that day, what was everybody saying, and what do you believe happened as far as just the wreck and there? Without getting into what we're going to talk about in a minute, what do you think happened there? Were you what you said on the TikTok and the videos, was that basically what you think happened? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, that was initially what I was looking at, because when I watched the video, and then in fast speed and slow speed, some of the first, because I've been through that. I've been on a ship when we lost power, not near a bridge. Luckily, it was an open sea. But when a ship loses power, it goes all quiet, like the ship's dead, and it's pretty scary. And it's like, so you have no control of anything. So that's one of the things that I started to see. I started seeing the lights blinking, the black smoke coming up, and then the dropping of the anchors. And then we had the more and more details will come out. They drop the anchor to try and get it to swerve over to one side. But one of the key points that everybody kept mentioning, and there were some maritime people on making comments, some pretty experienced one, some that had made comments on there that had 30 years or more of experience on merchant ships, ships that are a lot like that freighter. And they correlated, and some of the information and except they even added some more to it, and it's like information about, well, the reason they didn't have the tugs all the way to the bridge wasn't so much because of a decision of safety. It was more of a decision of money. The longer you use the tugboats, they charge you quite a bit to escort you.
Okay.
The further they escort you, the further they charge you.
Jesse, I'm gonna tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out Christy in the chat. Everybody in here, y'all. We went viral, y'all, with the information we gave out, and I kid you not, there's thousands upon thousands of comments from TikTok to YouTube to Facebook to what else? Instagram. Millions of views on this clip, just a little clip, right, from the live me and Jesse had the other day with me and Christy, and Jesse called in. But Jesse, were you surprised at all the people that chimed in? Because there's some naysayers. Oh, y'all don't even know what y'all talking about. But a lot of people agree with you in the comments to that video. Jesse, were you surprised that they were agreeing with you, or did you see some pretty good info as far as comments? Because it's one thing that I saw that, like I said, there was just thousands upon thousands of comments, and I'm pretty sure I saw you in there speaking to the people on the video. But did it surprise you that people had pretty good knowledge about how it works, operating the ship?
Yeah, what surprised me was that there was so many knowledgeable people
Yeah.
watching the broadcast, the broadcast, and also put it in there pretty in-depth commentary, and then based on their commentary, I have to give credit to them. Is like they knew what they were talking about.
Crazy, yeah.
Because it's like, especially when you're talking about a ship losing power, and they had some pretty extensive comments on there, and I knew they knew that they knew what they were talking about. 10 years experience, 20 years experience, 30 years as a merchant marine captain on a ship. That's a lot of experience of being out at sea and working with ships like that. And when you're that long out at sea with those kind of ships, you get to experience a lot of those situations. Although in that and then you see all the different aspects, that came up into play. Where's the tugboats? Which was my main question. One of the gentlemen expressed that like it was more instead of a nefarious reason for it, it was an economical reason.
Wow.
Because ships don't like to pay for the cost of the tugboat all the way to the bridge. Because normally, when you have a ship that big, going through what they called I think it was a delicate structure. It's what the NTSB called it. Delicate structure, meaning that if you hit either one of those pillars, the bridge is coming down.
Destruction.
Because it hasn't been upgraded in so many years because of the age of the bridge.
Okay.
No, some of those things, and then today, earlier today, they were talking about they recovered the black box, but the black box on a ship isn't like the black box on an airplane. On an airplane, it gives you so many different measurements and different parameters, even up to the temperature of the pilot. But on a ship black box, it gives you what direction they're going, maybe the speed of the vessel, the wind speed, the condition of the sea.
Kind of simple.
Just some general information. Okay. That's not that detailed.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to do a quick breakdown of this whole ship situation. Alex, shout out my brother Alex Ponce on here. Salute that hardworking man, fellow patriot. Guys, we're going to get into something that's pretty conspiratorial, nefarious. I want to get to that. But before I get to that, I want to, lay out the foundation. So that's why I'm talking about this, y'all. We want to tear this apart from front to back. And like I said, it was crazy. The comments, the people, saying, they even said, man, I never thought about a tugboat. Like they were like saying, like, that's crazy what Jesse was saying. So we're going to get to this, y'all. There's something that's really actually more alarming about this live. This is the reason why we did this quick live. Sorry about the audio earlier, y'all. Me and Jesse haven't been live for a while, but there's a reason why we're doing this video. We're going to get to that in a minute. It's very alarming. I got some audio we're going to play. But before I get there, I do want to ask a couple questions, Jesse, about the ship. Now, they're saying the tugboats, you said that basically that happened because they're broke, right? Build back better. That's how we are in America. Everybody's broke, trying to pinch a penny. People were talking about in the video. If you have any questions, y'all, let me know, Christy, from the comments or from the video. People were talking about the anchor. Some people said that they dropped the anchor because we played the video. I wish I would have had it lined up right now. I might get it, but it was an 8-time speed and it made the curve. You said in the video that it's like a football. It's like a runaway train. You can't stop it once it's on that in that direction. What's the deal with the anchor? Because some people are saying that the anchor was dropped. That's why it curved. Is that true or not? Go ahead.
Yes. When you have a situation where you on any ship of that size, but Navy ships also included, when you're coming in and out of port or a harbor, you have bosun's mates that are manning the emergency anchor system. They're up there ready to bust the anchor loose in case they have to drop either the port side or the starboard side. Okay, now depends on which one you drop. It helps control the movement of the ship when you lose steering or when you have to do a sudden braking of the ship and you don't have complete control of the engines. So those are the times that they drop the anchor. And that particular one looks like it looks like they dropped the starboard side anchor because the way that it started turning to the starboard side, that would mean that they were dragging the starboard anchor. And then you lose some people have said it's like, well, how come they didn't drop both of them? Well, because if you drop both of them, it's like it really wouldn't have had that much of an effect. They were doing about 7 to 9 miles an hour water speed, and with that size of a ship at over 150,000 tons, there's no way they were going to stop it with an anchor.
10-4. Okay, so I'm trying to think right now. I'm getting the chat set up. I'm gonna get polls in here, and if anybody wants to ask questions, I'm gonna get the box here momentarily. Christy's handling the modding in here. So the anchor, you talked about the tugboats. So now let's get to it. Unless you want to talk about anything, but before we're gonna get into Jesse. Anything else you want to touch on, especially with the comments people were talking about in the video? Anything that kind of you want to bring up before we move to this next situation? Go ahead.
No, I just want to give a shout out to all the people that were giving all the positive comments and knowledgeable information with the feedback that they were giving concerning the ships, condition of ships, emergency system, hydraulic system, how fast the hydraulic system can be put back into play if you lose engine power. These were people that know what they were talking about, that were making comments on our podcast.
All right. Awesome. Okay. And thank you, Jesse, for breaking it down, because like I said, I kid you not, I saw people say there, even on the YouTube comments, the YouTube didn't do a lot of views, but someone said, man, thanks for breaking it down. The way y'all did it was just like, they really appreciated your input. I mean, you've been, in part of the Navy for so long. So we appreciate you, Jesse. I didn't think the video would blow up. It blew up all over social media, millions of views. Like I said, thousands. I'm telling you, y'all, go look at the comments. There's all kinds of conspiracies throughout the comments on TikTok, especially over 1 million views on TikTok on the video of me and Jesse and Christy on the live a couple days back. But I digress. It was very crazy to see. And guys, we got one, y'all. 1 million plus viewed. We got a couple million views across all platforms, to be honest. But the comments were something else. And we could probably even go through the comments and kind of even pinpoint certain comments they had. They were pretty interesting. So let's get to why we're doing this live, Jesse. You told me you want to play that little clip, or how do you want to go into this part? Because this is what I wanted to go live about, y'all. It's not really about the TikTok and the views. This is something that's very alarming that I think a lot of us need to pay attention to, because it's part of the bigger picture, hence the name of the video today. Jesse, where do you want to start? Because, guys, buckle up. This is crazy. When Jesse called me, I'm coming home from the 18-wheeler, 14 hours in the field. I said, we got to run this video. So where do you want to start with this new bombshell info in this somewhat conspiratorial take that is going around certain circles?
Yeah, and it's like, it's almost, first a little bit of background on the source of the information. A journalist called Laura Logan, who's been a journalist for over 35 years abroad during the Benghazi attack in Iraq, in Afghanistan. She's been a war correspondent all over the world. She's worked for Fox, and then she started talking too much truth, so they dropped her. She was working for CBS, and she started talking too much truth, so they dropped her. They couldn't handle her. She was a hot potato. But every time that she comes out with information, it's information that has sources from intel community of connections that she has made over her 35 years in journalism. So Laura Logan is the one that posted this on Twitter, along with her commentary in her on her Twitter feed. And it's like we'll have a little brief breakdown of what she starts to talk about in the video.
I'm going to play it right now. Guys, I started a poll, and I got a question section. The first time I use a Q&A, so bear with me. But the question is, do you think this was something, and I'm not going to say the word here, but read the question and let us know what you think in the poll in the comments. So let's go to this. Laura Logan. Juanita Broderick. Shout out Juanita Broderick. She shared this clip. So did Jesse Lopez. And if you want, you could read some of the intel here in a minute, but let's get to this clip, y'all. I'm going to play it. I'm not going to show it because I don't want to get a copyright strike, but pay very close attention, y'all, because this is very interesting. And I just saw, who was it, Gabrielle? Who was the woman that she retweeted it barely from Fox? So it's kind of picking up steam.
Oh, yeah.
Gabrielle, what's her name? I forgot her name from Fox. I like her. But anyways, here's this clip, y'all.
I really want to emphasize, Steve, strongly. We are in an undeclared war right now. And these are not my words. I'm not making this up. This is coming from people who really know and who ordinarily would never ever talk to me. But we've reached a point in this city. I think, if you look at the quote of one of the intelligence analysts that I spoke to, right? I'm just going to read it to you very, very briefly, okay? It's not long, and it really sums it up. He said, they have figured out how to bring us down. As long as you stay away from the teeth of the U.S. military, you can pick the U.S. apart. We are arrogant and ignorant, a lethal combination. Obama said they would fundamentally change America, and they did. We are in a free-fall ride on a roller coaster right now. No brakes, just picking up speed. And I would urge people, watch very carefully the people that tell you that this attack doesn't matter. Stop following them on Twitter. Discount everything they say because they're either totally ignorant and useless or they are a plant. And there's a lot of anons out there, right? And I follow a lot of anons. And I appreciate and respect the work that they're doing. But we're in a moment of truth now. We have very, very little time. When you start to shut down, hazardous materials and the shipment of fuel, you know what that means. It means everything goes up. It means food goes down. The access to food and critical infrastructure, that means that goes down. Prices go up. This is catastrophic for the American people, and it's catastrophic for this country. But it is a financial and economic attack. If you're not going to see tanks rolling down the street, stop looking at the type of, conventional war and saying to yourself, well, if I don't see this, then it means we're okay. If people need to understand what they're looking at. And for those people who say, well, the FBI, isn't it interesting? Christopher Wray just put this big counterterrorism guy, he put him in charge of the FBI office of Baltimore just yesterday. And this is the guy that's out in front of the cameras already. Well, isn't that amazing, right? Do you believe in coincidences? I don't. I don't believe in coincidences anymore. None of this happens by chance. This happens by design. And the problem that we have is that people in power in this country are complicit in the breakdown of American infrastructure and America's defenses. And Steve.
Okay. So Jesse, in layman's terms, you're going to break it down. So, and I want you to read some of that stuff you told me earlier. The conversation we had, Jesse, I want to just basically redo that conversation we had on the phone because this was very eerie what Jesse started telling me, y'all. Break this down in simple terms for the audience right now. Jesse, what is she talking about?
Laura Logan is talking about some sources that got a hold of her. And they told her that there's another picture to this Baltimore ship crashing into the bridge that goes beyond that particular event. And then she's been following it for a few years now. And then so the Baltimore update, this is coming from the analysts that she talks to, contacts that she has in the intelligence field and fields that three-letter organizations that we don't have any contacts with. These analyst specialists, they're predictive behavior analytics. They deal with hazardous materials, maritime attacks, cyber attacks, national security, and intel. This is their view. This is the view that they gave her.
Wow.
Based on their training and experience, they believe this was two types of operations that happened on that ship. One of the operations was penetration testing. And people that have a military background, they understand what penetration testing is, where they are probing and testing to identify vulnerabilities in our responses and defenses, and a shaping operation to set the conditions and prepare the battlefield for a potential future event.
Wow.
Now, when I say battlefield, remember what Laura Logan's talking about. This isn't the normal battlefield where you see tanks in the street
Right.
and cannons rolling and bombs falling and stuff like that. No, this is sort of like a battlefield and a war that's going on in the background and making people believe that everything is hunky-dory when it's not. People need to wake up. Get your head out of the sand, because there's stuff going on in the background all the way around us every single day. And they're making us believe, oh, it's just that shit happens. No, it's not. These are all planned events. The shipping operation to set the condition and prepare the battlefield. Concern of the critical infrastructure. This is right now in Baltimore, in that harbor. Disruptions have hit recently appear to be independent, isolated events. May not be. For example, remember the Ohio chemical disaster where the train derailed and all the water got contaminated and all the people started getting sick? That was in the news for how many days? 2, maybe 3 days? Did Biden ever go over there?
Nope.
No, he went over there a year later.
Keep that in mind. Hold on, Jesse. Ladies and gentlemen, keep that in mind. That one. Go to the next one. This is going to start all making sense. In next situation, go ahead.
So when we put them all together, don't look at them one at a time. You start looking at them one at a time, and it's like, oh, that's a coincidence. Oh, shit happens, right?
Okay.
No, put them all together.
Okay.
The next one, train derailments. We had more than one train derailment, and all of a sudden, you got 2 or 3 train derailments out of nowhere. And then you have the fires at the food processing plants. How many chicken farms have burned down or exploded? And then nobody gives you a reason why the chicken farm exploded. Why does the chicken farm burn? No, but it's decreasing our chicken food supply. The other one is
Jesse, hold on. Before you go on, what did you say about the food, about the meat?
Well, you got the meat. You got some people posting recently. They're posting where they're buying chicken at the store, and people are getting ready. They open up the package, and on the outside it looks like chicken. But when you open it up, it looks like it's shredded, like it's manufactured chicken. So people need to read your labels, people. See what the label says. If it says chicken byproducts instead of chicken, you better be particular of what kind of brand of chicken you're buying or where you're getting your chicken supply. So that's critical. Same thing with your hamburger meat. Make sure that are you eating hamburger meat or are you eating a plant-based derivative?
Wow. Okay.
So if it's plant-based, it's not a piece of cow. It might be a piece of plant. So read your labels. Read your labels, people. We got to be awake during this whole thing instead of walking around like everything's okay and the government's going to take care of everything. The government is not taking care of everything.
Jesse, but let's be honest. Not just people walking around with their head up their rear end. People are me. I work 15 hours in the oil field a day. We're tired. We're working. We're trying to survive. I mean, the money is getting tight. The foods, the bills are piling up. But I digress. Continue with these other situations. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So you got the other situation. So then you have not too long ago we had a 1 million acre fire up in North Texas in Amarillo that killed cow. It cooked the cows in the field because they couldn't get the cows out of the way of the fire in time. Some of the ranchers out there, they lost their ranches. They lost all their cattle. And then some of the comments that they were making was saying, we have never had a fire like this up here in North Texas. This is the first time this happens. Well, how about that? How did that? It did. So how did that fire happen? Did somebody throw a match? Did somebody pour some gasoline? Did a cow fart and set off some methane gas explosion?
Right.
Oh, no one's explained it. And then that was in the news for 2 or 3 days, and then it's gone.
Gone. Yep.
So that's what makes it even more peculiar. that it's in the news, and then it disappears. And it goes out of the attention span of the people. And like you say, people are busy trying to earn a living, busy trying to put food on the table, busy trying to recover. You go to HEB every day. You go to HEB or the grocery store that you go to every day. The food is higher. Every day the milk is higher. Every day the gas is higher. Every day I get a new premium from my insurance company saying, "Oh, we're going to raise your premium."
Insurance is
I
up.
said, "Why?"
Insurance is outrageous right now. But continue. So let's continue, Jesse. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's crazy, y'all. Check it out.
And it's like get this. When I ask them, why is my premium going up? And the first answer is, oh, supply line issues. So first thing that comes to my mind, supply line issues. Oh, you mean Joe Biden is causing this? I'm having to pay more insurance because Joe Biden screwed up our supply line.
Wow.
When he shut down the Keystone pipeline, the Keystone pipeline was going to get the oil to us through the pipe. When he shut it down, now we got to use 18-wheelers to haul the oil. 18-wheelers need diesel fuel. Diesel fuel price went up when they shut down the Keystone pipeline. And then you got Biden shut it down, oil production all over the country.
Amen. But Jesse,
so of course it's going up.
Jesse, and then someone's talking about the containers on the ship. Chrissy just said that they lost the black box. 2 minutes of the black box info is missing. You said there's a hazardous waste that dumped into the bay there.
Yeah, this morning, NTSB representative said that I think there was like 15 containers that fell off of the ship were penetrated when they fell, and they were holding hazardous chemicals. Those hazardous chemicals are now in the bay, in the harbor. You can see the sheen on top of the water. Some of the people that are conducting the rescue operations and divers, they're being exposed to those chemicals. And some of those, that's why they take those chemicals. And that's the other question: where do they take those hazardous chemicals to dump them? That's another question that no one's answered. Where were they taking the hazardous chemicals?
Wow, Jesse. All right, so let's get back to the list there. And somebody said something about Maui. Do you think Maui somehow connected with these kind of events?
Well, again, put them all together. Yep. It's like a puzzle. So they're all part of a puzzle. And then it's strange that how come the administration didn't want to help Maui in the recovery effort? How come the police kept the Maui residents from going in to try and save their properties? A lot of questions that never got answered. You got Oprah Winfrey. You got The Rock buying. You got the guy that's in charge of Facebook. They said
Zuckerberg.
that first it was a rumor, and then he's making a bomb shelter on the island. Why would he need a bomb shelter? What does he know that we don't?
Okay, Jesse, let's go.
What's going on?
Let's go to the next one. He got the list here, y'all. Go ahead, Jesse. Continue on. Well,
so
Jesse,
for example,
let's give a
you
rundown.
got all these disasters.
Jesse,
when you look at them,
let's give a rundown though, real quick. Start with the ones you said, and then continue with your point.
So we got the chemical disaster. We got the train derailments. We got the fires at the food processing plants and the chicken farms exploding. If you take them in isolation, they don't appear to be significant.
Right.
But when you tie them all together and put them together, they're stacking operations that are paving the way for a bigger event where they do a number of these types of operations together that could potentially paralyze the United States.
Man.
Every time they do one of these little incidents is to test the people's reactions. How is the people going to react to this? If we tell them to shelter in place, are they going to follow directions?
And Jesse,
or are they going to not follow directions?
And let's be careful. I don't want to say the word, but you said it earlier. The Big C situation was basically
that was number one, test number one.
The Big C, y'all, back then was test number one. Continue though.
Yeah, because it was like that one was to see how many people are going to comply, How many people are not going to comply?
Man, this is deep, y'all, for real. All right, Jesse, continue on. Let's
So is
go.
it, so it goes on with all these other things that are happening. Uh, how many people are going to comply? And it's like they say, they want to continue to push the EV. They want to continue to push EVs, but I still see Biden driving his Corvette. His Corvette's not electric. His Corvette runs a gasoline. I don't see him driving an electric Corvette. So then they want us to do it, but they don't want to do it.
Yep.
They got limos, they got jets, but they don't want us to be participated in that. So it's like they want to keep us down, almost like under control. Easier to control. The less food there's available, the more food that the government is going to be able to have on their side and be able to supply us with the food source. So by them being the food source, they're sort of going to have control over us.
True.
So that's what this whole thing is adding up to: control over the people, with all these little critical events that are happening. So the critical question our government should be answering right now is this: when will they trigger a multiple episode that causes the paralysis effect? Some of the indicators of how many incidents have occurred within a relatively short time, what they see as the departure from what is normal. They believe those in charge will make sure that the investigation into the bridge crash goes nowhere quick.
Wow.
Watch how fast the bridge crash
Disappears.
ends.
Wow, dude.
It's going to disappear right out of the news, just like that. As soon as the ship crashed, what happened? Oh, they raided P. Diddy's house.
Oh.
How about that? Distraction number 2. Let's distract from the ship crash.
Damn, I didn't even think about that one. And we are all talking about Diddy all day.
And everybody's talking about it. They're all wrapped up about it without making the connection. Hey, what does this have to do with the other one? That's a good question. What does it have to do with the other one? It has to do with turning us all into sheep that just basically eat whatever they want to give us as information, and then we're supposed to believe it as, okay, it must be true because the government said so. People need to start asking questions. Don't just accept what the government says, especially nowadays. If the government says it nowadays, the way I look at it, if the government is saying it, it's probably a lie.
Facts. Okay, Jesse, continue.
And that's a fact.
Yeah, continue, Jesse. Let's go.
You got one of these goals, and what happens from all of this, and it's all psychology, right? Because and one of the goals here is to give the public mental anesthesia, basically to make us numb.
Wow. From
all the stuff that is happening. But people are already numb because it's like, we got a man winning the women's weightlifting competition. People are, and you got the 2 women that lost right next to him when he got the trophy, and they're smiling. Their brains are numb.
Good point, Jesse.
Because they're accepting the fact that a man won the women's contest.
Like you said, like they're paralyzed, they're stupefied, and then there's the media and social media platforms. If you say anything about it, they ban you, shadow ban you, restrict you. I'll tell you what though, my Facebook, my Instagram, my YouTube, TikTok is booming. I'm booming right now. Anything I post, they couldn't stop it. They couldn't stop us, Jesse, but they continue to try. They shadow ban us, harass us, censor us for saying what is the obvious truth. Yet, man, once the info gets out there, y'all, man, it's like a wildfire. We got to keep putting that out there. But continue, Jesse. This is crazy, y'all. Go ahead.
Yeah, because you got the trolls out there like crazy, man. I got trolls after me all day long on Twitter and on Instagram, and it's like contradicting everything that I say. And it's like, okay, well, where's your evidence? And it's like, okay, so I show them the evidence. And it's like, oh, well, that can be seen 2 different ways. And it's like, well, you know what? I'm not even going to argue with you. Bye. So did they comply? So then one of the things that they want to do is to find out if we're going to comply. If this is going to be successful to deceive and cause behavioral change in the public, are the things that they're doing that are happening around the country, all over the country, is it going to cause a behavioral change in the public? Is the public going to be wanting to travel less? Is the public going to stop using their vehicles because they're saying that, because they're trying to convince everybody that, well, if you're using a gas car or gas vehicle, you're helping pollute the world. And if you help pollute the world, it means you don't care about other people. And then you get that message enough times, and some people that are easy to convince might start believing it. It's like, well, I think I'm going to buy an electric car. I said, why in the heck would you do
Man,
that?
Jesse,
I said, you can only drive 300 miles, and then it takes you 2 hours to charge it if you can find a charging station.
well, Jesse, it's already happening. The TDS sufferers, the people that will comply and put the thing on their face and take the what, they've already laid down their rights and their free thought. It's us.
Oh, yeah.
It's us, the people in the chat. It's us that are the targets. And I got to be careful with my words.
Yeah, that's right.
So
that's a good word. We're the targets. We're the target population that they're trying to go after to see. It's like, okay, well, what else do we need to? What kind of events can we create, make happen, so that we can place more control on these people? And that one from Baltimore with that ship crashing in there, that's going to have like a domino effect now. And it's like Buttigieg's already talking about $2.5 million a day in wages being lost.
What?
Okay, that's wages. The people that work in those areas. Okay, so that's people losing money. Okay, the governor of Maryland requested yesterday 60 million from Biden. Today, Biden gave him 60 million to start the rebuilding phase to try to get the bridge out of there, get the harbor back open, even though the Navy's in there. One question I have is, how come the insurance company that covers that ocean freighter is not coming up with any money for the damage that ship caused?
That's a good question. What are people saying? I mean, I haven't heard nobody ask that question.
Nobody's even bringing it up. I know that ship's insured. It's got insurance. It has to have insurance. So if there's anybody out there that knows about how these ships get insured and how liable they can be for any damage that's caused by the ship, or negligible by the neglect of the ship, or things like that. And it goes a little bit deeper. It would be foolish and naive at the expense of the national security not to question the government on the narrative on the Baltimore bridge crash, given the level of corruption in the spheres of power and influence in the country today. While many years of experience in spoofing, the tactic used in cyber warfare is to hack into someone's system and deceive it in order to create multiple indicators. Watching the video of the ship would tell them that the GPS, it could say, is a possibility the GPS signal for the ship might have been hacked, because it's one of the systems on the ship that could have been hacked. I'm not saying it was, but it could have been. It would have led them to believe they were not as close to the bridge as they were, and maybe why the video you see in the crazy leaning to the port and then to hard starboard, as they realized that they were not on course in spite of what their GPS indicating were. So, information of warfare terms, here are some of the tactics that they see that's being used by many of you will recognize. Intelligence people communicating with Lara Logan. Engineered complexity, where they throw in nonsensical variables to distract us. This is designed to keep you from serially processing multiple channels of information and give you processing overload that prevents you from toggling information and channels of information. They create processing decoys to distract you from the truth. That's why a lot of these things that happen don't happen together, closely together. They happen apart. They happen apart so that we can't make the connection. It's like,
wow.
Oh, is this part of this thing? Or is this part of that? No, so everybody goes about their life in their busy lives, working, making a living, and doing everything, and then those are distractions. And it's like we see something, we see the explosion of a refinery, and it's like, oh wow, that's terrible. Shit happens, right? Well, not if you connect it to an explosion of the refinery that happened in another state 3 weeks ago. So they're trying to refrain from focusing on details that do not matter. To do this by throwing in a variable that's not relevant to the main equation. Right away, they want to say, oh, China, oh, Russia. It is like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, you know what? That makes sense. That could be it. But what about our own government? Could our own government be doing some of this to us in order so they can control us
Jesse,
to want to do what they want us to do?
without being too conspiratorial here, but 1984, like, I would always look at them first before any other country. To be honest, Russia and China, they're like the boogeyman, right? They're like Trump. They're the big bad boogeyman. But
Oh, yeah,
who's the real monster?
exactly. Exactly. And I'll give you an example from what happened today. Today, in a split screen, and I posted it to my Instagram, President Trump is attending the funeral of the police officer that got killed in New York City. At the same time, Joe Biden is with Clinton and Obama raising funds in Radio City in Manhattan, New York. He had time. He could have gone to the funeral and paid his respects to the family of the fallen officer, but he didn't bother. He did a podcast instead with some rapper or singer or something.
Wow.
He's trying to raise money for the election. So it's like that's a big picture that a lot of people need to look at. Who does Trump support? He supports the American people. Who does Biden support? He supports Biden and his group of people that are controlling him.
Well, Jesse, not just that. They're trying to raise money with old Bill Clinton named 163 times in the files. What a disgrace. Obama, and I'm not trying to I don't want to be political on this, to be honest, even though it's it's veering that way, but Obama, Bill Clinton, and Joe Biden were all together. And like I said, Bill Clinton was just named 160 plus times in the files. You know what I'm talking about, y'all? And they have the audacity to have them with Obama and with Biden, the Three Stooges today of all days.
Oh, and then Obama has connections with P. Diddy.
And then it gets real strange. I told my wife, I said, I think they're all connected because I just posted a video of Beyonce 11 years ago. It was like her baby bump pregnancy. She bends over and it folds. And there's I saw from Twitter that something about Jay-Z had I guess, what do you call it? What's the word called? A woman he sing. Anyways, there's like a whole conspiracy with Beyonce. Was she even pregnant? And then this kind of leads to Jay-Z with P. Diddy. They're starting to say that P. Diddy, or they're saying that he had cameras in all his homes to blackmail
every single the FBI found a video camera in every single one of his rooms.
So to do what? To blackmail others. Doesn't that sound like old E? Doesn't this sound like this is all the same plays they all use? That's what I told my wife earlier. I said, Beyonce, Jay-Z, I even saw Oprah. She's hugging Weinstein. They're all connected, I think. And if you see, they are, because they're all drinking and partying and chilling and smoking cigars together with P. Diddy. From Weinstein, P. Diddy, Oprah, Beyonce. I mean, I wouldn't even doubt if Taylor Swift is involved somehow. They're all in cahoots together.
She's next. Yes, she is. She is. To Mr. E, was a big time, who's also connected to P. Diddy. It's got some, was shown in some photos together with Taylor Swift.
Wow.
So she's connected to him. We don't know how. Maybe it was a publicity photo. Who knows? I'm not saying.
Okay.
But it's food for thought.
Okay, Jesse.
So one way to create
Jesse,
that, so they need to overload us with all of this information, right?
I'm gonna open the. Hey, Jesse, I'm gonna open the lines. Do you still got more to go on that, or we almost wound down?
Just a little bit. One
Go
way
ahead.
to create doubt in yourself, most effective because you make yourself less efficient when your brain is processing self doubt. So when we start to tell ourselves, "Oh, that can't be true,"
You're
that's
crazy.
self doubt. That's self doubt. So the less efficient your brain is functioning, the more self doubt we're going to have. And that's how they're going to propagate into the future. Population so much easier to dupe today than it was 20 years ago. Think about that.
And we got
Today, the population is so much easier to fool than it was 20 years ago.
phones and everything, and we're more stupid as a people.
Exactly.
So Jesse, are you done there? Because I want to get a quick summary of everything you
Yeah,
just said.
let's go.
Okay, Jesse. So real quick, break it down. Summary for those that just jumped in. What did you just read and find out today, and what are we finally realizing it was there all along? Go ahead.
Well, some of all the events and incidents that we've been seeing happening, train derailments, chicken farms exploding, 1 million acres in Texas burning up, oil refineries exploding, the things that are happening. We had more than one train derailment. And now on top of that, now you have the president of Mexico threatening the United States president and telling him that he better pay $3 billion to Venezuela and El Salvador. Oh my God. You got a president from Mexico threatening the American president. Okay, so throw all of that stuff into the mix, and then you see all the money that keeps coming in. It's like all of a sudden, there's like the money that was going to Ukraine. Did any of that ever come back to anybody? Because they did lose a couple of billion. They lost track of it. They don't know what happened to it. So it's what are we going to? We need to wake up. We need to wake up, people. Be more critical in what you're listening to. Again, with the understanding that people are busy with their lives, trying to make a living, trying to put food on the table, dealing with the food bar that we've been given by the Biden administration, and because of how they want to paint the picture. I was listening to the press secretary this morning where she refused to say the name of the officer that got killed in New York. And who did she blame for all of that? She said it was because of the gun. He got shot because of the gun. They didn't make no mention about the prosecutor being easy on crime or the fact that the alleged perp had 20 other incidents and had been released, including illegal firearm possessions. They're trying to create a situation that there's only going to be one way to save this country. And it's like, I don't like politicians. That's why I support President Trump. Because he's not a politician. He's a businessman. And that's how he ran the country before, like a business.
It's like we're bankrupted at this point. So
We'll get it there.
yeah, and we're gonna start doing more topics on this, videos on this kind of topics, y'all. I was kind of rusty getting back in here with Jesse, but it just tripped me out when he started connecting all the dots with all this stuff that's happening. Again, that intel came from where? Laura Logan got that intel from where?
Laura Logan has sources that she has generated over her 35 years of journalistic experience around the world.
Who is she?
Her husband's a special forces veteran. So she has connections in the intelligence field that give her information that's well supported, let's say.
And I'm trying to find right now who somebody retweeted her from Fox. This is picking up, y'all. Again, this intel hit her. She put it out there, and I'm seeing bigger names starting to pick this up. Basically, it's like a plot against American people.
Yeah, it is, and that people are starting to wake up. I don't know if you've ever watched The Five. There's a Democrat that's on there, a young woman. Her name is Jessica Tarloff. Okay. And then, Bobolinsky, the one that's been testifying in Congress against Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, and and Joe Biden's connection to Hunter Biden's business dealings with China and Ukraine, right? So he's the main witness that was in there. Jessica Tarlov said that he was lying in his testimony. Guess what happened today? He filed a defamation lawsuit against Jessica Tarlov of Fox News for defamation of character,
Wow.
for punitive damages, and for compensatory damages. He said any money that he gets from it, he's going to donate to a veterans group.
Wow. Well, with that, Jesse, let's wrap it up. Final words for the people watching. Thanks everybody watching now and on the repeat, y'all. Keep your head on a swivel. Go ahead, Jesse.
Okay, everybody's like, be careful what you believe. Ask yourself the question: is this really true? Could this be happening for real? And then I'm not saying, be a conspirator, somebody that wants to jump on conspiracies, but be more critical in your thinking. Be more critical because we're being fed a line. And you know what happened to sheep, right? They get sheared. Sheep get sheared. That's when they take all the wool off of them.
And
So don't be following the sheep.
And who's waiting? Who's waiting to grab a piece? The big bad.
There you go.
The big bad wolf.
Big bad wolf.
And with that, y'all, it's Jesse Lopez, me, Nino. Shout out everybody in the chat. Shout out Chrissy. All my people watching. Thank y'all from the bottom of our hearts. God bless you. Brother Jesse Lopez, y'all. Navy Chief, always. And we're out here, y'all.